Yeah, Alfred, if you could just fly in like, I don't know, like 100, maybe 200 bats to the back cave. It's getting kind of lonely in there. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I'm getting a call. I'll call you back, Alfred. Hello, this is the Batman speaking.
Hello, Batman. It's the Riddler. I'm standing
Riddler!
outside by a lamppost alone.
You're out by a lamppost. How did you get this number?
All secrets will be revealed, Batman. Now, riddle me this. Why does she say she's not ready to be in a relationship, but she starts posting pictures with Chad on Instagram?
What are you talking about, Riddler? Are you talking about Gordon's daughter, or are you holding her hostage?
No, Batman. I'm talking about Isabella. We were chatting online, and she told me she wasn't ready to be serious with another man.
Serious? What do you mean by that?
What the riddle is, why is she now posting pictures with Chad?
Who's Chad? What's going on?
Can you riddle it for me?
I don't know what you're saying, Riddler. Are you saying that there's a girl you were talking to?
Yeah, we were talking. It was going really well. I thought we were really making a connection.
Like romantically?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I asked her if she was interested in me, and she said she didn't want to be serious.
Oh, well, maybe you're just not her type. Did you ever think about that? Is this why you called me?
Well, she didn't say I wasn't her type. She said she wasn't ready to be in a relationship. What do you, am I doing wrong here, Bats?
Well, I can't really know. Maybe she was trying to let you down gently, and she didn't want to hurt your feelings. I don't know, man. I mean, when was the last time you were in a relationship?
Well, it's been a while. I would just prefer it if she would be open and honest with me about this. I can take it. I'm a man.
I don't know. You're kind of I mean, you're not. It's not that you're not a man. It's just you're a little vexing.
Yes, but I'm an open book. I was being honest. I was being vulnerable with her. The pictures.
Listen, I'll be honest, Riddler. You know, this is a private number. I don't know how you got it. To me, that kind of says something about the kind of guy you are. Like maybe you get a little too close too quick. Maybe it was just a little too much for her. What, you said you were standing outside? Are you outside of like an orphanage? Are you going to do something evil?
No, I'm alone. I'm always alone, Batman. In the rain, by myself.
Listen, I'll be honest. You know, it's been a while for me too. But like, even I know the girls don't really go for the, feel sorry for me type. I mean, you got to kind of buck up a little bit. You got to take it on the chin. You know what I'm saying? Start working on yourself. Listen, Riddler, if you ever need like a spotter or something, you know what that is? You know what a spotter is?
Is that a riddle?
It's not a riddle. It's like a guy who goes with you to the gym, and he counts your reps and stuff. He checks your form. I can't believe I'm offering this.
Okay, Batman. Yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Thanks for nothing. I'll be up to something. Yeah, I'm sure it's just a phase. It'll pass. So, goodbye. Bye now.
Okay. Bye.
Going to the movies, gonna catch a double flick. They're playing at the same time, so I guess I gotta pick. One's an awesome movie, and one's a killer flick. So let's all talk things over.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Hard Ticket, the show where we go to the movies expecting a double feature, only to find that both movies are playing at the exact same time. So, now we've got a hard ticket to choose between the two. I'm Jeff Bogus.
I'm Batman. I'm Tristan.
And joining us today is a returning guest we had back on in season 1. Would you like to say hello, special guest?
Hello, special guest, the resident Man of Steel here, Dallas Hartman, back again to talk about Batman and Superman.
You christened yourself Man of Steel.
Yeah, just now. I think so. Everyone calls me that.
Have you ever called him that?
Well, he's the man of stealing spotlights because your episode, Dallas, is actually one of the most popular episodes we've ever done.
Is it the most controversial as well?
It is almost undoubtedly the most controversial.
Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like this one will be much less controversial, a lot less Zack Snyder slander.
Yeah.
And, pro Zack Snyder. So
I'm sure Zack Snyder's going to come up today. But,
Well, hey, he's already there.
Yeah,
but the
got it.
the stakes are much lower this time.
Yeah, so this is basically our first sequel episode. We had Dallas on in the first season to talk about Man of Steel versus Batman Begins, resident Zack Snyder defender. And now we just kind of decided that Dallas is always going to come back to talk about specifically Batman and Superman in the same conversation.
The only movies, I guess. I don't get to come back ever again. Well, I guess the next round of Batman and Superman.
Yeah, we're
movies
we're definitely going to do the original 1989 Batman versus the
okay.
1978 Richard Donner?
Yes.
Superman? Yeah, we'll do those eventually.
You'll hear my voice.
It'll be a trilogy. It's like a saga.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
The Man trilogy.
And 3 men talking today about these movies. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Tristan, why don't you introduce us to option number A today?
Yes. Option number A is it's not Batman. It's not a Batman. It's the Batman.
And it sure ain't your dad's Batman.
It's 2022's The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. Everybody knows this movie because I think everybody saw it. It's Robert Pattinson, our Pats, as Batman. And basically what's going, it's I think a week in the life of Batman, 2 to 3 years into his career. Gotham City officials are turning up dead under mysterious circumstances, and he has to figure out who's killing these people, why are they killing these people, and does he have a part to play in all this? It's a gritty, noir, gothic Batman mystery story. It's also got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. It's got Colin Farrell, unrecognizable, as the Penguin, Paul Dano as the Riddler, John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. There's a lot of people in this film and a lot of really famous faces, which is really interesting because this is like the 4th reboot of Batman.
Yeah, he's up there with Spider-Man now at this point.
Yeah.
He's surpassed Spider-Man.
Are you sure it's only the 4th?
It's probably more.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like
more
cinematic versions of Batman, but I think it might be like the 5th actually, because you got George Clooney and Val Kilmer.
Those
it was like a soft reboot there, so I don't even know.
They like share continuity maybe. It wasn't really that important.
Exactly, yeah. So, but this is a completely different thing. It's a one-off. I think there was a TV show that followed it up.
Well, this sequel's been languishing in development for years. It's had a lot of problems. This movie also had a lot of problems during production. It was interrupted by like the COVID-19 pandemic and things of that ilk, but it finally made it to fruition and everybody loved it, including everybody in this room. Right, guys?
Yeah.
I think we'll get into that.
To
be discussed.
That brings us to option number B then, because option number B, of course, with the matchup today, is Superman. Came out last year, pretty big movie from last year, made over $600 million at the box office. Not quite as much as Batman, but...
Yeah, I could do better.
Okay. This version of Superman is directed by James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy fame. Gunn is now spearheading his own DC cinematic universe, reset the Snyderverse controversially at one point, but I think everybody's just kind of accepted that at this point. And we got the reason...
No.
The reason we're putting this one out when we are is because Supergirl, second cinematic installment in this universe, is coming out this weekend. So catch Supergirl. It's we haven't caught it yet, but we're gonna, right, guys?
Is the dog gonna be in Supergirl?
Yeah.
Crypto's
gonna be.
I think it's a big part of it.
I'll be there.
I'm in. Yeah. So anyway, this stars David C. David Cornsweet as Superman, who is, I believe he's 3 years into his tenure as the Caped Crusader. Wait, is that Batman?
I think that's Batman.
Yeah, that might be.
As the Man of Steel. Hey, saved it. He is Not the only one, though. There's other superheroes who are fighting along Earth, but he's also in some hot water because he interrupted a military invasion over somewhere unspecified in fictional countries in the Middle East, right?
No.
Completely unrelated to anything in real life.
It's like Eastern Europe and Middle East coded at the same time.
Right.
It's like Ukraine and Israel. That's like the thing that's going for it.
No, he said not. He said it's not related
He said,
at all.
"This is. I've been writing this for years. There's been no conflict
He said
here.
there's nothing related at all.
We all fell out of a coconut tree.
Anyway, sharing the spotlight with David C. is Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner / the Green Lantern, Edie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific. Again, stacked cast in these. And then you got all the Daily Planet people. You got Beck Bennett showing up, Michaela Hoover. It's a pretty stacked movie. Big spectacle. You know, it's
Superman. Everybody knows Superman.
Superman.
Yeah. And don't forget Skylar Gisondo, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. As
that is like everyone's
Jimmy
favorite
Olsen.
in joke in the movie.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful man. So without further ado, this is The Batman v Superman. Now we're going to get into our log lines. Dallas, I understand you have one prepared that you're very eager to share with us.
I am pretty eager. Does that mean I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So for this movie here, it appears the movies are about a sharp-dressed man. He takes his suit off and learns maybe he's not alone after all. The city responds in the only way possible by also getting a guy with a less sharp suit. Will the sharp-dressed man grow emotionally, physically, spiritually, or let vengeance take over in the end?
Wow. Written by ZZ Top.
Yeah.
Wait, so there's another a less sharp-dressed man who comes in and tries to put the...
They're in a suit and like it's not as nice, and I guess he fights the guy in the nice suit. I don't know. I think we're gonna get into
who has the nicer
who has the nicer suit. Yeah, I think
That's
it
what
might
this
be
matchup is
only the
about.
important questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tristan, what you got?
All right, a 2020s reboot of one of DC's most famous superheroes, a couple years into their early career where they must confront their parents' checkered past and their own reason for being.
Oh,
That's my log line.
checkered past.
Checkered past.
Sounds like we're seeing different movies. I think.
Dallas, that
beautiful?
wouldn't be the first time.
All right. To round it out here. This DC hero has just a handful of years under their tights, but a significant member of their rogues gallery is stepping in to show their city the truth. That truth being a misguided attempt at broadcasting their own agenda. How about that?
That's good. It makes sense from the journalism student that you would hone in on the media angle, because that's a big thing in both these
part
movies.
of it.
Well, it's true. Yeah, these villains, they're trying to shine the light on what's really happening in Gotham or in, what is it, Metropolis?
Yes, Metropolis, Jeff. Have you ever seen a Superman movie?
I've only seen Man of Steel.
You did watch it, right?
Yeah. Man of Steel barely counts. So, yeah. Let's get into it, guys.
Thomas Wayne tried to force this crusading reporter into a hush-money agreement to save his mayoral campaign. But when the reporter refused, Wayne turned to longtime secret associate Carmine Falcone and had him murdered. The Waynes and the Arkhams, Gotham's legacy of lies and murder.
Dispatch of anyone unable or unwilling to serve you, Khaled. Take as many wives as you can, so your genes and Krypton's might and legacy will live on in this new frontier.
Do us proud, our beloved son. Rule without mercy.
Let's start with the media angle. Why not? I think
The
that's
media
kind of
angle.
interesting. Yeah, because the beginning of the Superman. Wait. The beginning of Superman is all about like Lex Luthor trying to manipulate the image of Superman.
Okay.
Which is something that everybody has to be conscious of going into the 2025 movie Superman, because we've all seen a Superman at some point, or at least we're familiar with Superman. So there's the image of Superman that exists just in the void. And then here comes Lex Luthor, who is like the cynic. He's like, okay, Superman, actually, he like encroached on this country's sovereign rights and like prevented them from doing like a totally legal invasion of this other country.
While he's got his hands in the pot selling them weapons.
Exactly.
It literally
Yeah.
like almost has nothing to do with Superman itself. It's literally all about like media manipulation.
Exactly.
And Superman is just a tool of
Yes.
his current go at media manipulation.
Yes, it's all about media manipulation. It's all about Lex Luthor feeling that Superman is so predictable that he can bait him into this whole like standoff, find out where his lair is, go into his lair, and then find the message that Superman's parents left him. And he ends up finding out because the message was corrupted when Superman crashed on Earth. And the first half of the message is just like, go to the people of Earth and, you know, be a good guy and all that stuff. The second half is you can have your secret harem. Earth is inferior to your might and that sort of thing. You rule over them, basically. Which is something that Superman finds out on a smartphone in the middle of a park after he just rescued a bunch of people, which is like that image of Superman finding out his like parents' intent for him on a smartphone in broad daylight is so different from anything else we've ever seen in a Superman story, I think.
Yeah, Superman definitely takes the media angle because you have, you know, Clark Kent is a reporter. It's so funny that print is so important to these reporters, and they get their news from the TV when they're in the newsroom, and I'm like, what are we doing here, guys?
It's an easy exposition.
It's an easy exposition, but the media, it plays a really significant part. The times in which these movies were released is incredibly important.
Yeah.
I wrote that the Batman comes out in a sweet spot, right? Because it's themes of overarching leadership. Everybody's dirty. Everybody's got their hands in the pot. Comes out a couple years after the death of Jeffrey Epstein, right? And but a couple years before AI gets super rampant, because the evidence the Riddler is releasing is all these videos and he's chronically online, and it's like you could, you know, fake that stuff now, but everything is like there's video evidence is so integral to both of these movies.
Yeah, the Riddler is sort of, I mean, he's a lot of things in this movie. He's like the Zodiac killer.
Right.
He is like the secret JFK assassin. Like there's that scene where Falcone gets killed. You think it's the Penguin who shot him, but there was a second shooter and it was the Riddler. You got that angle to it, but you also have like, he broadcasts to like, he has a modest following. He only has like 500 followers, which is probably more than we have.
He keeps it close, tight knit, you know?
Yeah. It's more than we have on our podcast.
Well, they're very supportive. But it's interesting,
like they're very supportive.
Yeah, don't forget your cling wrap.
He's like an Alex Jones type. Like he's doing like QAnon conspiracies.
He has powerful followers. And it's important to talk about the media manipulation with like Batman, because like, it's not even like media, it's like word of mouth manipulation almost, because like they're known in the town of Gotham as spooky, and like they think they're on the same wavelength. Like the cops think Batman's good, at least Gordon does. The rest of the cops think he's bad. And then we have the Riddler who thinks Batman's bad, actually. And like it's just a misunderstanding between the two of them. But as the media or like general area understands it, they might be the same and like kind of fighting for something, because like Batman is just beating the shit out of like rich people sometimes, or like people who are doing corrupt things. And like, technically that's all Riddler's doing, is just a more extreme sense and a little more media based and like more visual based to give more light on the situation, almost like being a journalist in a sense of the Batman and his crimes and like what he's doing. And like, it's such an interesting comparison to Superman, where like at the time it comes out, you're like, is the video he even saw of his parents real? And like they make a point to say it is real.
To be like, no, it's not fake. But you know, Luthor's got all the media in his pocket as well.
And it's so easy to manipulate.
He goes on TV and they're like, what about all the good Superman has done? And he's like, forget about that. Basically, that's like his excuse. Like,
well, and Lex Luthor himself, like he doesn't actually have like a rationale for wanting to kill Superman. He's just racist. Like he just hates that he's an alien.
Yeah.
He doesn't like any metahumans. Like that's the whole thing. He doesn't like anybody who, he has like an inferiority complex.
But again, only one's in his way, like at the point of time. Sure. Like he only locks people away as they interrupt his current plans.
He is willing to use them as tools, but I feel like the end goal of a Lex Luthor world domination is like all those people get locked up in boxes.
Right, but like his main, the like Bizarro Superman that he makes is specifically used to like dominate Superman. So that means it can beat any other meta. So like he has a means of dominating every other meta. So it's not really like he's going after to like dominate and like lock them all up. He just like, if they seem to be in his way for his particular plan, such as like getting
power.
This. Yeah.
He needs to be in control.
Yeah.
Like he needs Superman on a leash, and he knows he can't leash Clark Kent's Superman, you know, David C's Superman. So he just makes his own. He just scrapes a little DNA and he makes his own. Same with the engineer. Like he is the one who infused her bloodstream with all these nanobots and basically made her, and she is undyingly loyal to him. So you've got that guy.
When do they explain that? Because I was trying to figure out what the heck she was, if she was a meta or if she was an alien or.
Well, it's very quick. I mean, these are, okay. Superman, very fast paced.
Yeah.
Right. Super fast paced movie. The Batman, not so much.
Very slow pace.
Yeah. And I know, speaking of the media, we're talking about other characters and how they react to superheroes. Right. And you brought up something off mic before we recorded about how everybody in the Batman is like kind of mimicking a cadence to Batman.
They're all trying to be Batman. So like in the comics, you know, like the Batman, I mean, any kind of Batman movie per se, it has like acting, you have range, you have people playing off each other. And yeah, you have a gritty town, but even in a gritty town, you have like sleazy people, you have like sketchy people, you have angry people, you have like oddly happy people sometimes. Like, and I get that you can't just have like a cheery person in this movie, but every single person is trying to give off the same gritty Batman, low voice, deep, dark look, and like they're looking gritty and grungy, and like it is a vibe for sure. But like when every single cop you meet is talking to you like they're Batman with that low tone, Batman doesn't stand out. He's just literally another guy, and like it's an interesting aspect to think about. But like Batman's supposed to be scary because of like his deeper, darker presence and his like brooding nature. And like when everyone's acting like that, that presence doesn't come there. And it's like an early Batman, so he's still trying to learn it. But like at that point, he's like everyone in the city's acting like the stereotypical Batman we've seen in media before.
I think back to that. I think it's like the opening of The Dark Knight where he has to break up the vigilantes who are like dressed as himself. And he's like, what's the difference between you and me? Like, why can't we do what you're doing? And he's just like, he doesn't have like...
I'm not in hockey bats.
Exactly. He doesn't really have like an answer. It's just like, oh, my technology basically...
I'm rich, bitch.
I'm rich. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And so I think the Batman is really concerned with kind of exploring that dynamic because the opening to the Batman is great. Like, there's a great just like, I am terror. I am like the fear of the dark. And like you get this like montage of people just literally just being scared of the dark because they're afraid that Batman's going to come out and beat their ass, which is all he does. He just comes out and he punches people.
And that's like, you're supposed to fear that he might be there. Like he's a symbol. He's supposed to give off that.
He is competent, right? Like, and he has this technology. So that does set him apart from your average vigilante. But I also feel like a big part of the Batman is how his whole thing, he says, I'm vengeance. And the big part of the Batman is how that angle has inspired all kinds of people, including the wrong people, which are the Riddler and his gang of lackeys who believe that they are enacting a righteous vengeance on the city. The Batman is all shades of gray. It's all shades of gray. You got dirty cops, dirty politicians. Batman himself is morally ambiguous. Catwoman, of course, her whole thing is that she wants to kill her father, Falcone. And Batman eventually comes to the realization that he's kind of he like inspired her to do that because it's vengeance.
You even have like the Penguin openly dealing drugs like out and about, like just and like that is an understanding that there are harder crimes that Batman's going for, and like understanding that he has like kind of free reign in that sense.
The only person I think in the whole movie who is not kind of gray, you might say Gordon. I think Gordon maybe fits, but also the mayor who's getting elected, Bella Real. And she sort of is meant to represent the future leadership of Gotham as like a AOC type politician. Like that's the vibe I get from it. Now, the thing with the Batman though, is I don't think its politics necessarily lean right or left. I think it's kind of centrist because it's not advocating for like an accelerationist, like we should just kill all the politicians and start over kind of thing.
But that's kind of what people are getting out of it. It's how people are interpreting it.
It's what a lot of people watch the movie and they see the Riddler killing like corrupt politicians and they're like, okay, what's the problem? Like,
he's the bad guy in this movie?
I want to do that. Yeah.
Well, there's even a cut scene where Batman confronts the Joker and the Joker plays like a Hannibal Lecter role where he's like, help me find this guy, the Riddler. And the scene ends with Joker being like, you don't want to admit it, but you're actually happy that he's killing all these people. I think it's a great scene. I kind of wish they kept it in the movie. To me, I don't see the Batman as gray as you're seeing it, I think. And I think there's a thing like it can explore something complex with Thomas Wayne because you learn Batman for a second. He has like this crisis of faith. He's like, oh, my father actually like paid Falcone to kill somebody and was kind of a dirty politician. But in the next scene, Alfred shuts it down immediately. He's like, no, actually, your father was a saint.
Yeah, they trip over themselves to basically just be like, oh, it was a big misunderstanding from your dad, and he beat himself up over it, which I agree. I wish they didn't have to clarify that. What I love about the Superman is that they're so willing to just be like, Jor-El, is that his name?
Jor-El, yeah.
They're
Bradley
just like,
Cooper.
yeah, Bradley Cooper, Jor-El was just like, yeah, go ahead and go to Earth and just rule over everybody. Take as many wives as you want. He's like unabashedly like a bad guy. And Superman never resolves that because it's not important. He's dead now. But the Batman does not take that same thing. So like for the Batman, I feel like that whole revelation with Thomas Wayne is very much like Empire Strikes Back. It's like, I wanted to be like my father.
Speed ran.
Yeah, completely speed ran. Yeah. I want to be like my father. Anakin Skywalker was a great Jedi, blah, blah, blah. And then you find out, oh, it's Darth Vader. You know, my father was actually a terrible person. And so Luke has to redeem Vader. Batman can't do that because his dad
So what
is
does
dead.
the Batman actually learn from this movie?
So the Batman has to learn to be more than just vengeance.
But does he learn that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, at the end,
You
he's
think?
leading people to safety. He's
Yeah,
lighting
But
flares.
he's still the symbol of darkness and still going around dressed in a suit.
He's more of a symbol of hope. So the movie translates Batman. He meets Gordon on the skyscraper and they're talking. And in the background, there's another skyscraper under construction, like being built. And to me, because we're so early, it's established that we're 2 years into Batman's reign. Like the city is also young and we can build it with justice, like built in.
Yeah.
In terms of the Batman and Gordon, because they're working together. Gordon's not commissioner yet. The commissioner comes in. He's like, oh, I tell you, Gordon, what are you doing? Like, he's like just shy of camp. He's not camp. It doesn't quite work.
No.
He's doing.
It's funny that you say the city's like that because like generally they speak of Gotham as being like a utopia when Martha and Thomas Wayne are alive. And when Batman comes into play, it's a degraded version of that, like a destroyed version of a utopian city.
Well, I like what they do with the money, the fund that Thomas Wayne leaves, and everybody's itching to get their fingers on it because once he dies, there's no regulation. That's a real life thing.
Yeah.
Like opioid settlement money in West Virginia has like, it just went to all these municipalities that have been affected by the opioid crisis. And finally, the lawsuits were settled. There was a big payout. Now, nobody's tracking where that money's going. And a lot of municipalities in West Virginia are just sending it to police departments. So you just got to rely on the cops to be doing the good work, which I don't think is such a black and white solution.
It's a renewal. Renewal is everything.
The renewal fund.
Yeah. After Thomas Wayne died, they all went after it like vultures. The mayor, Falcone, Maroney, everyone got in on it. It was perfect for making bribes, laundering money. Huge charitable fund with no oversight. Everybody got a piece.
The results of you seemingly acting as a representative of the United States
I wasn't representing anybody except for me
around the world. More
myself,
than a war that lasted between 12 and 24 hours and was just replacing one tyrannical regime with another.
Is that really how you feel?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman, but I question it. Yeah.
The Batman is commenting on something very specific and very, it's like a nationalistic fear, I think. And that's what superheroes do. They tap into something very like contemporary or modern with the time in which they come out. And so the Batman is doing that. Superman is turning that dial all the way up.
Yeah.
It's commenting more internationally. It's commenting on international conflicts. It's commenting on like, Tristan, you said in our year in review, 2025 was a year of every villain is either Donald Trump or Elon Musk. This is the Elon Musk example, except even Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor has his head screwed on his shoulders much more than the real life Elon Musk.
You know,
Just
it's funny that you say it's they're going for like a more international appeal too, because like they've gone almost reverting back to stereotypes and things to get a more general audience in like other countries. Like one thing that frustrated me in the movie is both of the prominent black characters have like that stereotypical like 70s black, like I just watched Black Samurai and it felt like Gordon could be put in Black Samurai and be the same exact character. It felt like a caricature of like
the Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also like he is playing that 70s cop sound. That's kind of like what he talks like, but like neither of those men in real life talk like that, but they both like like it's Mr. Terrific, especially like Gordon is more understanding because the tone, the setting, whatever. It's, I guess, is a little more forgivable. But Mr. Terrific has the same exact cadence, sound, and like tonality as Gordon, and that's really goofy to me because he doesn't sound like that at all in real life, and it feels like someone pushed for that.
He's also playing a character in the
movie.
He
is playing a character. It's again one of the only black characters that's prominent in that movie. So like that's why it like stood out to me. And I'm a white dude, so I'm not really here to I'm not. It's not my place to comment, but it's something that frustrates me because I see a lot of that in like media that leans more towards a white audience.
Well, there's also like a trend in movies that black people are relegated to supporting roles.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we see here, especially with Mr. Terrific, who literally saves the world and it does it in the background.
Yeah.
Like he's the one who prevents the
That's
apocalypse.
Literally one of the reasons that Zack Snyder stepped away from the Snyder Cut is because he wanted Cyborg to be the heart of the movie, and they said no. So they wanted to cut all the Cyborg scenes, and he was like, "You're destroying my movie." That's why the other Justice League cut has like very little Cyborg in it.
Yeah, dude,
but
sorry, I gotta go pour myself a drink and take a sip every time you mention Zack Snyder's Justice League, because it's the first time and we made it this far.
Dude, we have the Man of Steel here.
Yeah. But I would just say like that is a prominent thing in the Hollywood movies, that they do that kind of stuff. And it's frustrating to see in like a movie like Superman that's supposed to be about inclusivity and like about how like anyone could be Superman and like everyone is like supposed to love each other regardless of who you are, where you are, and like that, but you're still like kind of throwing stereotypical stuff in there. It's weird. It's a weird vibe.
Here's a thing about Superman that I kind of want to get into, which is that his fight scenes are far and few between. I think the most memorable, the most talked about fight scene in Superman is Mr. Terrific's scene where he shows up wherever they're keeping Superman in his pocket universe with Lois Lane, and he decimates a bunch of people.
I hate that scene.
I don't care.
I hate that Hollywood keeps using that circle camera. It pisses me off. That circle camera where they have explosions and someone's in the middle, and it started with Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's James Gunn.
It's James Gunn.
It is the James Gunn scene.
Yeah, but they keep putting it in all these action movies, and it pisses.
I don't care about that scene as much, because the
rest of it's really good, but that circle shot I wanted to say that circle shot pissed me off.
The thing about the Superman scenes is that Superman spends more time doing damage control and saving people. He even saves a squirrel. You know, he saves a little girl. He saves a woman getting crushed by a building. To me, that's what Superman is. And if we're going to implant Superman in a very 2025 coded world, then that's who I want him to be. He's not starting fights. He is reacting to fights that we all know are going to happen anyway. He is basically the watchdog. And we're back to dog versus cat movies, I think, in this matchup, because the Crypto very prominently featured in Superman versus Catwoman in Batman, but also the way that these heroes go about it. Superman is protective. A lot of the times he's reactive, which I like about him. Then you have Batman, who's stalking in the night nocturnally. He's not this. Well, he is actually starting a lot of these fights, but where there is already a power imbalance, he is standing up for people.
Yeah, Batman doesn't save people; he just beats bad guys up.
Right.
And his arc in the movie is learning that he needs to not just, because like he saves a guy who got mugged in the beginning of the film. After this guy watches Batman beat up like a dozen guys, he's like, "Please don't beat me up too." And Batman's just like, and he just walks away. And
that
it's
guy
like,
with the half face paint on, you could tell there's a little bit of good in
well, there's that guy. And then there's the guy
Very subtle.
The guy that he actually saved from getting mugged.
Right.
I had a thought that like both characters are actually boring. Batman and Superman, inherently boring in both their movies. And the only part that makes them interesting are all the characters around them.
Well,
like if you just think about the scenes where it's just them, they are barely acting. Like not barely, they're acting very well, but they're not. They don't have a lot as far as the plot goes with them. Like you're saying, Superman's reacting, Batman's reacting his whole movie. Like it's all the characters that make him interesting. Like if you didn't have any of those side characters, these two characters, they wouldn't just be sitting around. Something would be going on. But like, I think
it's just like a general. I think I have 2 points about that. One, it depends if the character's static. I think Superman is pretty static in Superman. I think the Batman has more of an arc. But another thing is, I think you could almost say this about any individual character. You're like, if you just took this individual character and plucked them out of the cast that they're a part of, they're boring because it's just them.
Well, no, I'm thinking like the old Batman and Robin movies. Like, you know, like Batman is very extravagant. It's all about him. It's very flashy. It's very entertaining. It's very much about the Batman.
You like you're talking performance then?
No, like there's a lot of scenes where Batman is the main character. In the Superman, there's very few scenes where he's the main character in the scene. Like he's almost always a side character in his scenes, even though the movie's about him. Same for Batman. Like there's a lot of scenes where the Batman is a side character and it's his movie.
That comes with introducing these characters a couple years in. Do you guys give Superman more or less props for like having like a little opening thing that's like, it's 3 years in, 3 weeks ago this happened, 3 days ago this happened, like it tells you up front. They're both throwing you in the middle. Yeah. Superman is more so just throwing you in the immediate aftermath of a fight scene, which is interesting.
I like it, but they still go back and explain everything. So like, why do that? Like,
well, because like, they're too afraid to cover
one or the other. Like
they don't want to cover the origin story. Yeah, they're too afraid.
But they still covered it. Like they still told us about him crashing. They still gave us the parents. They still said his ship was like damaged.
They're just putting faith in you that you know these characters. That's the whole thing about the Batman is that it is as cool as it is, and as much as every scene seamlessly bleeds into the next. Like it is just all you just understand that this is Batman. You already know the story with him, and you don't need to go any more in depth with it.
I feel like it did better about not talking about the parents. It didn't show the shooting in the alley, you know?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They won't touch the origin stories. They've done them too many times. My thing with what you're saying about the characters being boring is that Batman versus Superman is external. He's an external character. He is shallow. There is never like he is the archetype. Like every other superhero that followed him was Superman, but he's like really fast, or Superman, but he's underwater. Like Superman, like they just take from that. He's a superpowered human being, and there's nothing more you need to say. So he is all external. You don't need like him narrating or getting his inner monologue. He is reactive. I think it works for the character. Batman, he's all internal. He is complicated. You know, he broods. That's what he does. He lives in the darkness, and he's coping with all of these like concepts. Vengeance, grief, justice, like they're intangible, and he's wrestling with them interior, like inside his head the whole time, which I think also works for the character.
So it does work, but like in my head, if I had to give like a brief description of what Superman did in his movie, in the beginning, you got like we start where he's like beat up, which is very interesting, very like but then he heals himself with the sun, and then I'm trying to think of to how it goes. So he goes in there, and then he goes back to fighting, and then he has the interview with Lois Lane. So like he's talking to her, and I'm just saying like these scenes aren't like, he always feels like the most boring character in the scene that he's in, and that's almost like a good thing because like that's what Superman's supposed to do. He's like supposed to help you feel better about yourself. Like
a rock. He is goodness. That's what this film does. It does like take a stance on contemporary things. Like Lex Luthor won't even refer to Superman by his pronouns. Like it's not a very complicated thing. It's all right there. And what it's saying is that like this is what Superman embodies. He embodies justice and goodness. So shouldn't we all kind of like maybe it isn't that complicated. Like maybe it's just that simple.
Well, maybe we should talk about the interview scene then, because Dallas, you kind of left off there. And you're saying that you feel like he's boring in that scene, and Lois Lane is more interesting.
I don't like that scene. I find it to be like cringy and not a like good. It doesn't give me a romantic feeling that the kiss and stuff pays off in the end. So like it's like an attack of someone you would do not like in your first few months of dating, which is where they're at. You're very like tiptoeing around everything. And like, you might have one little thing that sparks up a fight, but like from Jeffrey's journalist view, he said that it is more likely someone as a journalist might take a interview stance with the fight. It just felt very
I don't get the sense that
these
characters tiptoe though at all. I mean, for Superman to let Lois Lane that close to him and know his secret identity, and Lois Lane, you know, she's a bulldozer. She's chasing the lead. I think it adds to their characterization.
Again, even in that case, so if they're at that point where they're well established and have a more deeper relationship, then again, as an adult, you would sit down and have a talk about the grievances you would have in a relationship that early, not have like what I perceive as like a petty fight through a perceived argument. It's kind of like how people like argue through their dogs. Like they say like passive aggressive petty shit through their dogs. Like, oh, your dad's just being a little piece of shit today, huh? Like it feels like
that's why it's a dog movie.
no. It feels like it's that on a scale through the interview instead of just like, hey, Lois, I don't want to have an interview. Can we actually have a talk about this right now? Like, this is an actual like thing that I'm upset about and you're upset about. Can we talk about that? And I would feel much more happy with the relationship. But like after seeing how they interact, I'm like, that's toxic. I don't think that's a good
Dallas,
relationship.
You are in a pretty healthy relationship, and I don't know if everybody can necessarily relate to that sort of problem solving.
Yeah,
I mean that's fair, but
I mean, I can. I'm also in a healthy relationship.
I think your version just sounds kind of boring, Dallas. But
yeah, exactly. Though,
but they find out like after Superman hears the real message from his parents, they actually do have a scene together again. Where they sit down and Lois Lane explains that she was just like this punk rock girl, like super skeptical of everything, questioning everything. That's why she's an investigative journalist. Superman, he got his job at the Daily Planet. I get the impression he got that job because he has access to Superman, like Clark Kent got that job. Because apparently he's not a very good writer, and Lois Lane is pretty open to him about not being a good writer. So I think she assumed that he would take it more neutrally, her quote unquote attacks. And I think he assumed that she would be a little more earnest towards him. So there's that disconnect there where she's a skeptic, he's earnest, he's a Boy Scout, she's a punk rocker. And I think that is totally fine.
I'm not saying the fight doesn't make sense. It's how they resolve it. Like he just kind of walks away and storms out. Well, like that's the cringy petty part.
They're stubborn in different ways though. Like they're both stubborn, but he's stubborn in a way that he like believes in this. Like he's going to trust people. That's his whole thing.
Legit,
He'll tell anybody anything.
If someone did that to me 3 months into dating, I'd be like, you're immature as hell. Like I don't want to keep talking to you. And like they do resolve it, but at the end of that scene,
well, that fight kind of ends with a breakup, kind of, not quite concrete,
but it's not though. And that's the thing, is that they're still kind of like tiptoeing. But like to me in real life,
he apologizes later. He says, "I'm sorry that we fought," and she says, "I'm sorry, I'm so skeptical of you." And I think that's sort of the position that this film is taking on Superman, like as an entity. It's either, can we do Superman now in 2025 after Zack Snyder's Superman sort of re-examined that? What does that even look like? And I think Superman's thesis is that you can do Superman, but you just have to be earnest about it. He is going to just be saving people. The whole, political conflict that he gets involved in, we're going to brush over like the legality of that, the, just the political ramifications of that, and just say this is the right thing to do because you're saving people.
I think that plays into what we were talking about too, about like how it's an entertaining movie, but
this is the thing too, because I kind of agree with where you're coming from here too, because I don't necessarily see that Superman has a lot to say about the real world, because the real world is more complicated. There are political ramifications for example, coming into a country and stopping them from invading another country. Even if it is the right thing to do, there's a domino effect. And so Superman, my inclination is to be like Lois Lane and to look at this guy and be like, who elected this man? What right does he have to call himself Superman, right? And the truth is that Superman wasn't elected. He chose to do what he did, and no one can really stop him. I'm not comfortable with that. I wouldn't be comfortable with that in real life, but in the movie, it makes sense because he's just a good guy.
Yeah, it's like Lex Luthor without all the weapons. You're like, what are you actually here for, buddy?
It is a fantasy, and that's the whole thing about superheroes is that they are a fantastic externalization of how society wishes it could handle its fears.
Yes.
And that's why Superman, and well, not Superman specifically, but he inspires the other heroes to interfere in the international conflict, which is clearly Israel-Palestine and
or Russia-Ukraine.
And nobody's swooping in real life to put an end to that stuff.
Exactly.
And that's why, but if there was a Superman, maybe, so it's cool to imagine that there is. Superman is rebuilding this kind of, James Gunn is coming from Marvel. Everybody's quipping versus Batman, where everybody's very dour. And, you're asking, Superman is asking, like, what does Superman look like after Zack Snyder's Superman? The Batman is asking, what does Batman look like after Christopher Nolan's Batman, essentially? Because Zack Snyder's Batman never really got his own standalone
Batman v Superman.
Yeah, nobody cares about that. So
Snyder cut.
Nope. So now we're getting into
Flash.
Like, what does Batman look like now? And Batman looks like a noir. It's pulling from a bevy of tropes and inspirations.
People love Batman now because they see a guy. Batman is complicated. There is a side of Batman where he is a kid who came from a privileged life who now gets to do vigilante justice, and he is a reactive hero.
He's like people's last animalistic instinct, like their last touch of like animalistic instinct. That's Batman. Like he lets your inner animal come out.
He's reactionary, right? And like an animal, he's instinctual.
He's a power fantasy in a similar way of Superman.
But the thing that always gets tossed around at Batman, it's like, oh, Bruce Wayne is so rich, you know, he's like a billionaire. Why doesn't he just like address crime from a systemic perspective instead of just beating up bad guys and making people who do graffiti like fearful that he's going to come out and beat him up? I'm like, oh no, the graffiti guys in Gotham. I'm so
you know how much it costs to clean that up?
Stop damaging public property.
Yeah, it's just like, okay.
You know how much a brick costs?
It's not the most like inspiring version of Batman in my opinion. So, but what Batman does represent like on a base level that I think a lot of people nowadays agree with is just like, okay, like everything's corrupt. The system doesn't work for people. And here's at least a guy who's coming out and cathartically beating up people because that feels good on like a gut level. It's the instinctual thing. It's the animalistic thing. And what Batman has to learn in The Batman is that you can't just go and beat up crime to stop it. Like you have to also inspire other people. You can't do it alone, basically.
Alfred, do you think I should use my money to maybe help crime? You think I should feed people?
Alfred, could you ship in like 100 bats into my cave? Maybe 200, Alfred.
Oh, Master Wayne, who's going to clean up all the bat guano?
I don't know, Alfred. Don't worry. I'm going to go beat up some guys. It doesn't matter.
Vengeance won't change the past. Mine or anyone else's. I have to become more. People need hope. To know someone's out there for them.
You trust everyone and think everyone you've ever met is, like, beautiful.
Maybe that's the real punk rock.
I wanted to talk about Superman again, of his portrayal and that he is the personification of ideas. And in that case, I don't like him as a character being a real person in the movie. The movie is very entertaining, but Superman comes off as a man-child to me. We talked about earlier of like him.
He's a Boy Scout.
Yeah, and his main life mission is mom and dad say do good. Mm-hmm. And he never goes beyond that. And like it's hard to be a 30-year-old and that be your mantra. You know, obviously Mom and Pa Ken should have shown him a few things that may have like gave him a little more nuance to his character, but like
wait. Because do you get the sense that the Ma and Pa Kent that are presented in Superman are the type who would instill a really gray kind of nuanced sense of morality in this Superman?
I do, yeah.
Why? Because I thought earlier, because we talked off mic, you were like, you thought they were kind of cartoonish.
Yeah, they're really like yeehaw, like honk.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're
exactly.
very.
So would those people be the ones who would be like, oh, listen, Superman, the world is actually really gray. You need to respect international boundaries.
Some of the most like uneducated, like backwards ass rednecks are some of the most morally strong people I've met. And like they feel very strong. Like if you see an animal get hurt, they like, why did you let that happen? Like, you let something get hurt. And
that's
like,
what I'm
you
saying.
help.
That's
like,
the stereotype we're kind of presented with in these.
Yeah, I feel like those characters would give that very strongly into
which is
Superman.
Be a good person. That's a strong moral backbone. See,
but he doesn't lean on that though. Like that
is what he leans on. He thinks that he's just doing good because of the message he was given, but he finds out by the end of the film, and this is the payoff where he actually he's like, show me my parents, and he sees Mom and Pa Kent. The payoff is that he realizes that the entire time he was doing good because of the upbringing that he had. Yeah. It was really that nurturing aspect from Ma and Pa.
I'm agreeing. Yeah, like so that payoff makes sense, but his whole ideology up until that point is Ma and Dad from space said do good, and that's my mission when I put on the suit. And like that is a very...
In my opinion, Dallas, that's him intellectualizing it. It's just like, well, they gave me, because they gave me the suit, they gave me the Fortress of Solitude, and they gave me this message, which sort of crystallized what it is he needs to do in life.
But they show he doesn't like think beyond that again immediately with the war. Like he could have been doing stuff like that all the time, but we just see him with the war.
But he does. He begins to question his whole modus operandi.
When people start getting mad at him.
Sure. And then he goes back home and then he finds out, wait, I'm not just being good because of this message. I'm being good because of the people who actually raised me.
Right.
And
That's the movie. But like for 30 years, he's just thinking,
no,
Mom and Dad from space say do good.
Not 30 years.
No, yeah, I guess like 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, like 3 years.
3 years. Yeah.
Exactly,
So like I don't like
he was probably always a good guy.
Yeah. But I don't like 3 years of Batman, and it's like going to your job doing I do job good for 3 years and never being like, what is my job? And like that's a very weird mindset to kick off with.
Maybe Dallas, he's so busy doing the good that
he's saving every squirrel and saving every person.
He's also cleaning up the messes that other superheroes.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
He doesn't have time to think about.
That's true. Like he is a very busy,
he's kind
always
of a
running
himbo.
around person, but
he's a little bit of a himbo, and I will say, like, that's part of the reason why
I don't like a dumb Superman.
I don't think he's a dumb Superman. I think he's a very stratified Superman. I think that's the whole thing the movie's going for. It's trying to recenter Superman as just this very basic thing, because that's what he is.
I don't like using the word dumb. I'm with you. He's simple. He's not dumb. He's very one track minded.
He's stubborn.
Yeah.
Like Lois, they're stubborn, and I like the chemistry between their actors. I think the emotional payoff works. Okay, so Superman, there is a lot of this movie in the second act where he's sort of taken a back seat. He's in a cell. He's captured, but even while he's in that cell, he's like showing Metamorpho that like he doesn't have to be doing bad. Like he can help you. You help me, I help you. You give me some yellow sun in here, and we can break your kid out, and we can.
But it's Jimmy who's like pulling all the strings because he pulls, and like that's unbelievable.
Jimmy's also kind of a dick. Too.
Yeah, Jimmy sucks.
It's like all weekend I gotta hang out with you.
I have to talk. I have to care about you. No,
when Lois Lane is like your hot ex-girlfriend, and he's like, hot?
Go that and.
Yeah, no, but I don't mind that Superman takes it back. I think I did. The first time I watched it, I was like, I want to see more Superman. I want to see him fight more because it's a superhero movie. But then on this rewatch, I'm like, okay, I like what they're doing, putting him back to the center as a protector, as this moral, like maybe if you were the guy who's always standing there breaking up fights, people would call you boring because, they want to see a fight. But I'm like, I don't know. I
kind of want to see less Superman fights, honestly, because like every Superman fight,
here's this movie for you.
Every Superman fight is so unbalanced because Superman is Superman. Like he just stops it because he's Superman.
Well, they
and
balance him. They nerf him a little bit in this movie.
Yeah.
He's a little weaker, but he's still a young Superman at the same time. And I like that. I think the third act of Superman coalesces really well. I like the way it comes together. There's a lot of emotion. These characters, even when they're making jokes and I'm not laughing at them, I like that they're still making jokes because that's more relatable to me. I don't walk around the streets at night staring at my feet, wondering about, what do I represent? The third act of the Batman to me is, and I think we all agree, it is the weakest part of the movie. And it's
the hardest to get through. Yeah.
It is a slog at that point. And that's coming off of an incredibly strong first
because you already know who the bad guy is. You already know like what the issue is. You're like, why aren't you just doing your job? Like, why isn't the story done yet? You gave us all the info. Like, what more are you going to reveal to us? You're just going to show us a couple of more.
Well, you have to wrap up your thematic loose ends. You got to complete Batman's arc. He has to become a protector of Gotham, and this is coming after some incredibly amazing. Like some of the stuff in the Batman is like the best superhero action I have seen. Like the car chase specifically, I think that's one of the big talking points of the movie. It's all from ground level. It's just an amazing.
I don't like his fight choreography.
You don't like his fight choreography. Well, lucky for you, he's not fighting anybody in that scene.
It's very stiff, and it reminds me of Nolan. And like the Nolan suit was stiff because it was a bad suit, but this one shouldn't be a bad suit because we've gotten a lot better at suit making. So like it just felt very stiff, and like I know he's early Batman, but
can I say I like the third act?
Really?
I do. I like the third act. Not only does it wrap up Batman's arc, it also has something to say about Catwoman's drive for vengeance, and which is sort of the whole thing where Batman realizes that he can't keep going down this path because he's inspiring people to do the wrong thing. you expose the Riddler as somebody who actually admired Batman the entire time, which I think is interesting.
I like that.
What I like about the third act is that you have all these little pieces that have been set up by the Riddler, and the third act is just the clincher. It's just seeing all those pieces actually line up and fall down, which is that he is flooding the city and trapping people inside of what is essentially Martha's Madison Square Garden. And he's having it like flood, and he's having his followers assassinate people and everything. Like I
think it's just not interesting because it's like the origin, because it's just Batman's going to save everyone. They're going to think he's a hero at the end of story. Like that's
like, every superhero movie. Yeah,
I know. Like that's what I'm like. It just feels like it's the same. That's why it feels like a slog. I feel like
I don't know. To me, it like really resonates like on a real world level, because we see people who are inspired by like mass shooters, who are inspired to do acts of violence because of political grievances and everything. And I think those real world elements, because
it's just the Joker.
Because the Batman really leans more into the kind of grittiness and groundedness of everything, those real world elements, they resonate with me more than like Superman, where you do have like an Israel-Palestine thing going on, and it's drawing attention to that because Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane is specifically being like, okay, you're violating like so many international treaties and blah, blah, blah. You're representing the United States. And those are questions that I'm going to be having, of course, as like a skeptic inherently. But then the movie is just like brushes past them and says, don't think about it.
Well, not exactly, because Superman doesn't show up at the international conflict at the end. It's who was inspired through him.
Oh, yeah. And that's fine. And I like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that conflict is still stopped by superhero fiat. Like it's just,
but also they haven't resolved what Superman should do in global conflict by
it's
the end
fantasy.
Of the movie.
Again, Superman is going to do, because he represents and embodies good, you're just going to stand by him, and you're not going to have to ask yourself that question.
Exactly.
But then you have the sequel, Man of Steel, where you ask that question.
Well, in that world, you don't have to ask the question.
Yeah.
But they do.
But like Lois Lane does. Yeah, so they're trying to.
The person who has an arc in Superman isn't so much Superman himself, it's Lois Lane, who has to just decide that she's not skeptical of him anymore. And she just has to accept that he is doing good. And that's enough for her, which is fine until the next Superman comes along. And it's like the guy from Man of Steel, Michael Shannon.
Or Henry Cavill's Superman, who will just destroy the city.
Or it's Henry Cavill's, exactly, and he does all this collateral damage. So it's
and then she has to go, oh, he is super powerful. Do I actually trust him? And like ask the question again.
Yeah. And all this in a movie where Lex Luthor literally clones Superman, and so he has his own Superman who can just do the exact opposite thing Superman does. Mm-hmm. And so it's raising all these questions, and then at the end of the day sweeps them under the rug. And is like, don't think about him. Whereas the Batman is literally like, let's pull up the rug. And I think the plan for
that's where Superman is an entertaining movie and the Batman isn't. It's like the Batman is long and dramatic and makes you think, and Superman doesn't make you think. It's short, sweet, and fun.
I just think Superman says there aren't easy answers, and the Batman like contextualizes that idea better because it actually tries to kind of dig them up and present,
I feel like Superman says there are easy answers. Just get a bunch of super friends and do the right thing.
I kind of feel that way too.
I don't think that's what it's saying. I think it's because it doesn't necessarily answer the questions because those questions don't have easy answers.
Well, I mean, they just blamed the conflict on Lex Luthor. They said, oh, it was actually him causing the conflict. So we don't actually have to talk about Superman inflicting on international waters anymore because it was actually just Lex being a dick. So they just literally they said, we don't care about that answer anymore. It's just do good.
Yeah, do good. That's basically the thesis of it, and that is not a one size fits all kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you get shades of gray in Superman 2, where they're fighting a monster, and the Justice Gang is trying to kill it, and Superman's like, let's try to keep it alive. Let's try to study it, and they kill it. They just kill it.
But it's all on your basis of morals. Like, what's good for me isn't good for you. Like, I might want to kill pedos, but like, you might be like, let's put them in jail. Maybe we shouldn't kill people. So like, it's a matter of like, his morals and his good at the time. And again, the movie just tells you we don't have to think about that with this movie. Like, we're just going to say Superman's good. Don't think about him growing to like Homelander style. He's just going to stay good.
I disagree because of how contemporary this movie is and the fact that it's asking these questions. Maybe it doesn't answer them, but here we are talking about them, and that's kind of the point of it all, right? Whereas like it doesn't matter necessarily because we don't live in a world where Superman exists. but the discourse around this movie, it should be discourse around superheroes in general.
Like, will we talk about this if Man of Steel and Homelander didn't exist? Like, would we have the same conversation if we didn't have Homelander and Man of Steel?
No, yeah, we absolutely would, because like I said, there is another Superman in this film who is evil.
That's true.
So that already exists.
They are,
yeah.
And he's on a leash for the the supervillain.
But is that realistic? I mean, they made him super dumb, but like, is that again like
none of this is telling
you? Yeah, they're telling you not to think. Yeah, so I mean, yeah.
No, I don't think I think what is important to Superman is the discourse. It's taking all this discourse from what is happening right now. It's putting it in the movie. It is representing things, but even though the movie ends, that stuff still exists. Lex Luthor's alive. He's going to be plotting again. Like, that's kind of what reality is too. Like, if you're not going to use people's pronouns in real life, you're not going to do it. You just you're stubborn, and that's important. It's important that Superman is stubborn. It's important that Lois Lane is stubborn, that the good people are stubborn too, because you get this constant push and pull. And even though it does seem like it wraps things up a little bit too neatly, like, the fact is they make a mess, and it is a messy movie. Superman is a messy movie. I think it's much messier than the Batman.
But also, structurally, it's messy.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place in bits.
But I do think it pays off, and I think a lot of the stuff, it's trying to do a little bit more in terms of what's definitely taking on a lot more water. Whereas the Batman, like you said, is a very singular arc. It's very, he learns how to not become vengeance. And a lot of it is a stylistic choice. Most of the Batman it's incredibly stylized in a really, really cool way, a way that I really enjoyed when I watched it. Some people say it's too dark. And then some people say Superman is blown out. And that's the dichotomy of those two characters right there. That Batman is in the shadows. He is the shadows. Then you get Superman giving his big speech to Lex Luthor, and the sun is right behind him. Sun flare, and some of the Superman action sequences, it's like in the middle of the day. You get some blown out fight scenes. I think it works for this movie because, Superman is the sun. He literally gets his powers from the sun.
Oh, yeah. And I like all that. Something we talked about before recording is, I saw Superman in a theater. I saw it on a big Dolby screen.
Right.
I was real close up to it. I thought the movie looked a little cheap because of the blown out lighting. I thought it was too even. I wanted something a little more cinematic looking, what people call cinematic looking. I thought it looked way better on my TV rewatching it a couple nights ago.
It felt very saturated in theaters.
Oh, they definitely up the saturation in that to make up for some contrast they lose.
You can see all the detail even on a smaller screen because it's so blown out. And what I thought was really interesting is all the HBO kind of branding. There's I don't know if you all paused the movie at any point when you were watching, but the little cursor at the bottom was a Superman logo.
Oh.
The HBO Max logo at the beginning was the Superman theme, the John Williams theme.
Yeah, we watch it on legal sites.
Oh, right. I forgot who I'm sitting here with. So I was almost was this movie, it's almost made for streaming. I kind of got that vibe from it going in.
It felt like a second screen movie.
I don't think it's
it doesn't feel second screen. I disagree with that, but it does feel like this is a very rewatchable film. And I think it was one of the most rewatched films last year.
That wouldn't surprise me, although it was surprisingly, I do kind of feel like Superman burned really bright in theaters and then it disappeared kind of quickly as well.
Yeah.
And then when I was telling people that we were doing this episode and I was like, we're doing the Batman versus Superman. And they were like, oh, I loved the Batman when it came out and I haven't watched it since then.
Exactly. Because it was this big commitment. And it also,
I think the rewatchability of both of them suck.
I disagree. I think the Batman looks great on a big screen too, and then on a smaller screen, you're losing some of that detail because it is so dark.
It's anamorphic. Yeah. It's shot on some anamorphic lenses.
The rewatch of the Batman on a TV just feels so lackluster and why watch this if I'm not going to experience it in theaters? Because it feels like it was made for theaters. And rewatch of Superman, it feels fun on your TV and good and it's rewatchable. But if I turn it on again the next day, I'm going to be so bored and over every scene I see. It's rewatchable to a certain extent, but it's second screen in the sense that I couldn't watch it the next day and find something new. I would rewatch it and go, that joke is still kind of funny.
I think in the sense that Superman is kind of asking you not to think about the nitty gritty as much. I think I can see what you're saying where it's okay, I can just put it on and it's a comfort watch. And if I want to be on my phone a little bit while it's happening, I don't.
Yeah, you can be in the other room and know the plot.
Sure,
that's what I mean by second
to
screen
a certain
too.
Extent, yeah, but I'm also not going to hold the cinematic look of the Batman against it. Because like I love 2001: A Space Odyssey. If 2001: A Space Odyssey was playing in a theater tonight, I'd say I ditch you guys. I'm going to go watch it in a theater. I mean, legitimately, do I want to put it on right now and watch it on a television that's kind of small and everything? No.
The Batman also isn't just like some prestige crime drama or anything either. There's lines in there where he's like, "That's a goon I got into it with the other night. Looks like I broke his nose." Yeah. Also, Catwoman, remember, jump and press the circle button to take out these goons.
Or when he just straight up stalks her, he's like, "Hey,
it's interesting.
I saw you at your house."
It's interesting, Jeff. You mentioned in the stalking thing too. You mentioned like the kind of video game aspect of it. There's a lot of like voyeurism in the Batman. It starts with the Riddler like looking into a window.
He watches Catwoman get naked.
He watches Catwoman.
It's like,
and then later's like, "Hey, I know where you live."
It's heavy breathing from under the mask too. It feels like a slasher, which makes it feel like a Zodiac kind of movie,
sort of a Halloween opening, like where you have like the
like
Michael
I said,
Myers.
The Batman is drawing from a very large pool of inspiration, and also using it to comment on something that is very contemporary. The power dynamics within political systems, and especially in the U.S., very timely right now. I appreciate that in it, but it does feel like it is doing a lot. It's trying to be a lot of things, and I'm not saying it's unsuccessful. It's very successful, but I'm also like, at what point does this like become a shadow of the imitations that it's drawing from? I don't think the Batman is at all.
It's also basing off of the Batman Hush comic, which is a very like it's very and
it's drawing from a lot of comics too, because it's doing Batman.
Well, I mean, the Hush comic is the series that like it's literally the story that they're doing of the Riddler doing that crazy shit. So it's like it's like the same story. You can know what happens by just reading the comic.
Sure, yeah. But I remember when David Ehrlich reviewed Joker when that came out in 2019, and in his review he was talking about like how everybody was praising Joker as this like, oh, it's actually like a psychological, like a character study. And it was drawing heavily from Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. And Ehrlich was like, the next prestige romance is going to be between Howard Stark and Black Widow and like going somewhere in Paris. And it was like, why do we need to inject these IP, these popular characters into stories in order to get people's attention, like to tell a prestige
just
story.
tell another story. Like
basically,
don't use these characters. Like I get that. I get really mad at that.
I'm not saying it doesn't work in the Batman, because I do think a lot of like it's drawing from slashers, comics, like all the stuff we already said. It's sort of doing an opposite thing where Superman is going back to this, like back to Marvel, back to MCU roots, kind of. Where Gunn is, they're quipping again, and he's almost like being inspired. Like he's even doing the evil self showdown in the third act. Like it's almost being inspired by itself,
But now that's one where the Batman is more favorable than the Joker, because the Joker is straight up being those movies. Like it's taking shots from those movies, but the Batman is basing off of the Batman Hush comics. Like it's taking shots from that comic book and like that storyline. It's like an alternate universe Batman where the Riddler is that crazy dude, and it's like a one-shot comic series. So I hate that they're doing the like slasher thing and they're taking that kind of trope instead of just like,
I don't mind
like you said, like making a slasher movie that is crazy like that, or doing a Batman Hush comic that feels more comic booky.
I do think it's just a little bit too kind of.
You think some of the cinematic inspirations are maybe unmotivated? Like, what's the point of them? I'm
not sure, because it definitely feels...
It's like putting The Rock in your movie. It's literally...
Is it like putting The Rock in your movie?
It's like putting The Rock in your movie just to get people to come be like, oh, it's actually a Batman movie, but it's a story I wrote when I was 5 that loosely has Batman and Joker.
I don't know. You're talking about Black Adam right now?
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel as much like a Batman movie, I guess.
What? But your frame of reference for Batman is Nolan, right?
Nolan is the one I grew up with, and
then you grew into loving the Snyder version.
No, never did that. No,
he tells me about it.
I understand taking Batman in a totally different direction because you kind of feel like you have to, and there've been so many of them.
Yeah,
and I like the direction it goes in. I'm just wondering, like, how far do we go before it becomes like
he's
Batman,
just
Zodiac, like,
he's literally just like Jigsaw, like let's play a game.
right. Yeah.
There's like the jigsaw trap though in the Batman that the Riddler does. To
true. Yeah.
There's something I'm drawn more to with Superman because it's not, like you said, it's not exactly complicated.
No.
And it's not pretending to be.
You can't distort it in that kind of way very easily.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I see. It does feel like a return to roots. The Batman, and I'm not like a comic book guy. I don't really know it, but I have seen, the Tim Burton Batman. I've seen the Nolan Batman. I've seen the Adam West Batman. I've seen Batman in so many different iterations. I like the Batman because it's like a detective Batman where he has to like solve a crime and actually go around and do that. I think that's interesting. I think the gothic kind of moody atmosphere to me feels true to the character and the comics and everything. Again, haven't actually read them, but that's just the impression I get.
Yeah.
And so, but I do get what you're saying. I do think that some of the cinematic influences, it's like, are we watering this character down? What's the motivation behind some of these influences?
Are we working too backwards from where we want to be?
Exactly. Yeah. Because you do have source material.
Right.
I think back to, and I got to talk about Star Wars again, because Star Wars is an amalgamation of so many different references. Yeah. It is a uniquely cinematic IP in a way that like James Bond isn't, Harry Potter isn't, Batman and Superman and all the Marvel people aren't. Those are all
adaptations.
They're adaptations, exactly. So it's like, do we need to be going back into cinematic inspirations when we're doing our Batman? Or should we just go do more comic stuff?
Do more Batman.
But also nothing exists in a vacuum. So it's like, what else are you going to do? And Matt Reeves is a film director. So I don't know. I don't really have an easy answer for that. I get what you're saying. It doesn't. The only thing that bothers me is when I feel like it's unmotivated. I'm like, okay, why is it calling to mind this other movie that now you're just distracting me?
Is it motivated in the Batman?
Some of it I think is motivated. Like I like the voyeuristic angles that kind of recall like Psycho and Halloween and all that stuff. I think there's something there about perspective that's interesting. But some of the other stuff I'm just like, I don't.
Looks cool.
It just looks cool. Exactly. Like sometimes you just put something in that looks cool. And to me, that's less interesting.
Right.
I don't care. Superman, though, does feel more, it feels more pure. It does. It feels more singular and simple because of that.
Feels better.
You like it better?
Yeah, I think so. But I don't think it's the pick, though.
Well, we've reached the end of Hard Ticket, folks. Dallas Hartman, thank you so much for once again guesting on one of our
sure to be controversial episodes.
One of our illustrious episodes.
Thank you for allowing me to be in here with you.
You're welcome, dude.
You're set.
We're about to go on a week-long vacation.
I can't wait. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I can't wait. About to go on a week-long vacation with the three of us. We're all high school best friends. And Dallas, you were our first guest. You were sort of like a trial run, and it went well enough that we've continued to have
a good little guinea pig. Yeah.
Yeah. You know the drill. This is the end of Hard Ticket, so you have to decide what your hard ticket actually goes to. And I am very curious. I feel like I know where Jeff's leaning, but Dallas, I don't know where you're leaning. So we're going to go with Jeff first.
Okay.
Jeff, where is your hard ticket going?
I am surprising myself with this. When I rewatched the Batman for the first, 2 hours, maybe hour and a half, I was like, this just kind of feels like it's on a different level than Superman. Just the filmmaking that Reeves deploys. Greg Fraser shot the thing, and he shot Dune 2. He shot some incredible movies. It's amazing and beautiful. And then I got to it just kept going. It just kept going. It just kept going, guys. Like I was so ready for it to be done. And it all makes sense. It's what you're saying.
Oh, sure.
The conclusion, the arc, I like it all on paper. It all makes sense to me. But the escalation was like a plateau for a lot of it.
Well, ironically, part of the problem is, that amazing car chase, which goes nowhere. It's a narrative dead end.
It's a narrative dead end.
Which is probably my biggest issue with the film. I think it loses momentum after that amazing car chase.
It does. They blew their wad right there. So my hard ticket's going to go to Superman because I rewatched it and I had a better time with it. 2, I got more out of it on the rewatch. I got more out of what it's saying with the characters, why Superman takes a backseat when he does, why he saves who he does. Some of the filmmaking choices, that Gunn is doing, some of the callbacks he's doing to more, the early days of the MCU. I was super into the MCU when it started. I saw Thor when it was in theaters, and I remember being a kid, and I was like, this is going to be boring. Like, I don't know any of this. I'm not going to be invested in it. And then I really liked it. And that's honestly one of the movies people are like, that's not even one of the good ones. But I remember liking it as a kid and being surprised that I did, because it was funny and I liked the actors and I liked the action. And this does feel like a callback to that in contemporary times too. I love that Superman is like, it's probably already dated now. I mean, it had its finger on the pulse a year ago, and a lot of the stuff's really on the nose with what it's drawing inspiration from. To me, that's what superheroes have always been. And that's why we created them, is to challenge what's happening in the real world when we can't do anything about it. Like that's sort of the antidote to me. And I appreciate that Superman sort of is. And that's why it's my hard ticket, guys.
Yeah,
well, I love that. So, are you gonna go see that movie with Jeffrey, or are you gonna buy a second bin of popcorn?
Oh, Dallas, this is not how this works.
Oh, I want to know. Are you gonna have to get a second bag of popcorn, or are you sitting down next to Jeffrey there?
He's getting the second bag regardless. Sorry, dude. I mean that whole thing.
My hard ticket goes to the Batman.
I knew it.
Oh, okay.
And I have a greater appreciation for Superman.
Yeah.
After rewatching it, I respect its purity. I respect its simplicity, but I also take issue with it because I can't let go of some of the difficult questions it brings up. I don't know what to make of them. I don't know what to do with them as an audience member, other than maybe just feel good about the movie I'm watching, which I do. And I like the movie. I have a good time with the movie. I love the Mr. Terrific scene where he's got his floating balls.
Dallas hates that scene.
And Dallas hates that scene.
James Gunn circled shot, whatever you
I think that scene
it.
is so fun. I think the music is fun. I like Mr. Terrific as a character. He's like my favorite character between both these movies, I think. But I just don't know what to do with the message there. And I know what to do with the message of the Batman, which is sort of urging, don't, I'm going back to Star Wars. Don't fight what you hate, save what you love, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And temperance, and don't be an accelerationist. You need to be, you need to reconstruct kind of what society's going through right now. Because I do have a lot of anger, and I do sympathize with people who are very, jaded by the system, quote unquote. And then the movie, the end of the movie is like, yeah, it's going to be a long road ahead. There's going to be a lot of blood. It's going to suck, but there's hope for a better future. And I think I know what to do more with that message than I do with the Superman message, which is just watch a fun movie and I guess be a good person, which are important things.
And take it with you, I think.
Yeah. Be a good person and be good in the world. I think that's all good stuff. But yeah, the Batman gets it, unfortunately. I struggled with this one more than I really thought I was going to, because I really was just leaning toward the Batman the whole time before watching them. And then I watched Superman and I was like, I'm having a good time. This plays way better in my living room on my TV. But now, Dallas, you're going to be the tiebreaker for this episode. So make it dramatic.
Yeah, it's a wild one to have to pick between the homies. But honestly, I really enjoy Superman, but I think I'm going to end up sitting on Tristan's lap for this one.
Tell me why.
So it's like, again, like Superman is a fun movie. I can just come home after the theaters and watch it on my TV and have a good time. But like watching the Batman at home is just not entertaining. It's from a photography aspect from my degree. I love seeing pictures very big when they're done very well. And like the Batman from a photographer, or in this case, videographer point of view, it's very grand, very incredible. And the audio is very grand and incredible. And my system at home isn't built for that. So it feels like a more grand experience to go see the Batman out in theaters versus Superman. It doesn't really feel like a grand experience. It feels like they're streaming an episode of the next cool TV show in theaters, versus the Batman really feels like something you would go to the cinema for. Like it was made to be shown in theaters. And like I really love when movies do that. Like if Interstellar ever comes back to theaters, I'm be right there again, ditching y'all like Tristan said. Just put me in that theater.
A hard ticket between these two and Interstellar.
Yeah.
No, I understand where you guys are coming from. I understand that you're wrong. No, the Batman, like I said, there was some stuff.
You'll hear us over in Superman. You're like, dun, 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 dun.
I think there's plenty of music like the Superman theme that's recycled for this movie, but redone, retouched on. Like, I think it's a very cinematic movie. I disagree that it's like, I mean, I know it plays well on streaming. I think a lot of good movies do play well on streaming. I think there's moments where it engages in higher contrast than the flat picture profile sort of idea has taken over about this movie. I do love the Batman, though, and it definitely does play better on the big screen. But I am getting out earlier than you guys and eating a 5-course meal before you're done with your movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Holy shit.
You can watch it twice probably before we got done.
Yeah.
What if we just all watch the Batman in theaters and then we all come home and watch Superman on
there
streaming?
We go.
Yeah. You know what?
I don't think that's how Hard Ticket works, but I think we can dream. You know,
Tristan's always trying to bend the rules. This is a black and white morality.
Stop
show.
breaking the rules. There's rules to society.
I love having Dallas on because he just yells at me.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to another exciting episode of Hard Ticket. Thank you, Dallas, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll have you. We'll complete the trilogy by going back to the origins someday.
Everyone's listening. Keep listening. Listen to everything. Listen more.
Yes.
We'll hear from you.
Yeah, give us a follow. Follow us on social media at Hard Ticket Pod, all lowercase, all one word. That's Instagram and Blue Sky. Follow me on Letterboxd, Jeff Blogus, all lowercase, all one word. Tristan?
You can follow me on Letterboxd, Tristan Moore. You can follow me on Instagram at Tristan__less. Email the podcast, hardticketpodcast@gmail.com. Send us some requests if you want a guest on the show. Send us hate mail.
But don't rate us low, because you should rate us 5 stars.
Please rate us 5 stars. Dallas, do you have any socials to plug? Anything that you want to...
No, follow them, rate them 5 stars. For sure, write hate mail, include me. I would like to hear from you. Just don't rate bad. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, tell us how
Spread
Dallas
love.
did in the mail.
Thank you, Jared Tadlock, for designing our brand elements, keeping our podcast look fresh. Thank you, Aaron Griffin, for mixing and mastering our theme song, sung by yours truly in a truly awful falsetto. Spielberg Summer continues. Next week, we talked about Aliens last week, the new Alien picture, and this coming week, we're taking it back to the classics with a matchup between Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Arrival. And hopefully having on another special guest for that episode, so you don't want to miss that. But until then, we will see you guys at the movies. Bye, Alfred.
It's a